This video is primarily about the basics of avoiding missiles, avoiding being shot. Um, the number one thing that you're going to need to do is when you have a lock on and that missile is coming towards you, you will see two circles. One outer circle, one inner circle. And what you want to do is line up those two arrows within those two circles. Now, you will sometimes be hit by the missile, but a lot of times you will completely avoid the missiles. And don't worry about being hit by the missiles. Sometimes it's okay to take that hit, but you do want to try to avoid as much of the damage as possible. And basically, you just want to keep going and keep maneuvering. I'm going to get into the game right about now, and you'll see some examples of that, and I'll try to point those out as we go. So, right now, as a TIE bomber, I'm just flying around. One of the slowest ships in the game. In fact, it's the slowest ship in the game overall. You know, both bomber types, the Y-Wing and the TIE bomber, are both the slowest vehicles in the game. You'll notice that I'm just taking my time, lining up, looking to see what's around. Take out the first target, go immediately for the second target. Sometimes I try to stay as slow as possible, but not all the time. You want to mix up your speeds, you want to mix up your directions. Right there, that was almost a full somersault. What I call a full somersault. Instead of the turn to the left or the turn to the right, that was, aiming down, so to speak. Still just tracking on some standard targets. Looking for targets of opportunity. Not much to really do, except skim the surfaces of different objects, such as like the capital ships, the space station itself, as much as possible as a bomber. You don't have the speed, so you got to stay near cover as much as possible. You want to get out there, be a shark, come out of nowhere, pop in, fire off your shots, eat a few, and then get the heck out. You don't have the speed to stay in sustained firefights with a lot of the like X-Wings or TIE Fighters or the Interceptor classes like the A-Wings or the Interceptor itself. You don't have the speed to keep up with that, so you've got to be a shark. You want to try and alternate your missiles or your abilities as much as possible, depending on the situation. The TIE bomber itself, you'll see I try to use the standard 2 proton torpedoes as much as possible, and then save the group missile for multiple targets like that. Now, that doesn't mean you can't use all of them on one target if you want. But it's try to spread out your shots as much as possible so you're hitting as many targets as possible to help your teammates out. Right here, you'll see that I take a little bit of a hit damage, but I just power through it and keep going. I just stay moving no matter what, and you'll need to do that, especially if you don't have mods or haven't earned mods yet. Get myself back up to almost full health, come back in. It may seem like I'm flying out in the open, but I'm still staying relatively close to terrain. There, I'm avoiding missiles. I still took a little bit of damage, but I'm also avoiding other people's missiles that may be incoming on me. You notice I rarely use my target jammer unless absolutely necessary. Like right there, it was getting a little too hot and heavy. I was ready to go in for my next multi-run. I popped my jammer, fired off my missiles, and got out of there. That's when you want to save your jammer. Otherwise, you want to try to line up those arrows in that circle. You want to turn into the arrows at all times when you have missiles tracking on you. Lining up for the multis very shortly. Fired it off.
Our defenses have sustained heavy damage.
Looking for it, and there's a multi-target. Even though it was only two, even though there were two targets, I only managed to lock on to